Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Woke Witch Tarot. I am so excited to be back with you guys today. I wanted to start by saying thank you so much for all of the subscriptions and views and comments lately. I cannot tell you how how absolutely humbling it is to look at how much the channel has grown and to read all of your beautiful messages, your Instagram DMs, and it really has been such a blessing during a time that I know the world is going through it. I'm so grateful that you are here, and I'm very much excited to be doing another video for you. Things have been a little bit crazy. As somebody that has a suppressed immune system, you can imagine that this has been a time where life has needed a very serious readjustment, and I've been working my way through it, and I'm so happy to be back. I wanted to let you know that I have a lot of videos that I have recorded for the channel so that we don't have a break in the videos here, and my goal is to upload 2 to 3 videos a week, so we will see. Fingers crossed. I'm going to do my best to keep that momentum going and to provide stuff for you that is easily accessible and free here on YouTube, because I realize that not everybody can afford a personal reading. So thank you again so much for all of the attention. I built it and you came, and now I'm just praying that I don't crumble under the pressure of that. I have a special reading here for you today. It is a May predictions video, and I recognize that it's a little bit late, but I still wanted to do it. Even though I have some really cool videos that I feel are unique and a little bit different and longer for the weekend and for the weeks ahead, I still really want to keep these monthly prediction videos. There's something about them that I really vibe with, and so even though it's a little bit late, I hope that you still get something from it and that you appreciate the video, okay? Now, as always, these are general readings, so they won't resonate with everybody. If you'd like a personal reading, you can always feel free to reach out to me on my website, which is linked somewhere down here or in the description down below, and I'd be more than happy to do a personal reading for you. Now, with all of that out of the way, I want to tell you about the different piles that we have to choose from for your May 2020 predictions. The first is this beautiful bobby pin. It's a little hairpin, and it has this beautiful elaborate detail on it. That's charm number 1. The second charm is this little circular charm with a bird wire and 2 little birds on it. That is charm number 2. The third is this blank plate, which I thought was really interesting when I asked for guidance on which charms should be picked. This one came up as charm number 3. The fourth is this gear. That is charm number 4. And the fifth charm, hopefully you can see it, it's tiny, but it is this little puzzle piece. That is charm number 5. So take a moment, pause the video if you need to, take a couple of deep breaths, and ask the universe the question of what charm it is that you will be most drawn to regarding what's going to be happening for you in May of 2020. And when you're ready, pick a pile, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, and then you can feel free to fast forward to the times that I've listed here or linked down in the comments below. All right, I will see you on the other side. Alrighty, if you picked charm number 1, this beautiful elaborate hairpin, then this is the reading for you on what it is that you can expect in the month of May 2020. This is a very beautiful charm that you have picked. I get so much from that charm. The first thing that I want to say and just kind of get out of the way, because it's the most, I guess, out of left field that I would consider for this charm, is this idea of versatility. there is something quite versatile about this bobby pin because it can be used as a brooch, right? It can be used as a hairpin. It can be used in many different ways as a decoration. You could put it in a journal. You could use it as a bookmark. There's this idea about versatility here, and there's something very perhaps you're finding in the month of May that you are more versatile than you had ever imagined. There's an ability to be multi-purpose, to be able to multitask, to do many different things at the same time. I get the sense here from this charm that you might be coming into a place where you've had some downtime, and that has had your mind spinning with elaborate, beautiful ideas of things that you could grow, things that you could make happen for yourself, a dream almost of a beautiful life, right? That is coming from the head, because hairpins obviously are tied typically to the head. I see very much that perhaps in the month of May, you've learned that there are certain beautiful things, there are certain beautiful dreams, right? Elaborate things that are coming out of your head that you have to put a pin in. Delays, right? But regardless of delay, this idea that you still will make these beautiful things. In fact, not only will you bring something beautiful into fruition for yourself in the future, but the idea that perhaps that thing, because of the fact that you have time where you are having to put a pin in it now, perhaps that is what is driving how beautiful this thing ends up being in the long haul. As in, the more downtime, the better, right? Very, very interesting. I also get this idea of getting your affairs in order. Obviously, when I think of a hairpin, of a bobby pin, there's something about order. There's something about many strands being put in their place. This idea of tidiness, of order. Of all things, this makes me think of a Rick and Morty quote. For those of you who are familiar with the show, there is this quote where, and I'm not going to curse, so I'm going to say ish instead of what word I'm thinking of. Get your ish together, get it all the way together, and put it in a backpack. All your ish so it's together, right? And if you have to take it somewhere, take it somewhere, take it to an ish store and sell it, or put it in an ish museum. I don't care what you do, you just got to get it together. This, I'm not sure, of all the things, right? That quote really stands out to me. Perhaps you're using your beautiful mind, your beautiful creative spirit to get your ish together, right? Taking your ish to the ish store and making sure that things are tidy. That could obviously be physically in the home. That could also be just in general with your goals, with the things that it is that you're dreaming about bringing into fruition. Very nice. I also get this idea of, when we get things together, we can also be taking this off instead of putting it on. Perhaps there's something that in May where you actually want to be wild instead of contained. You want to take the pin off. You want to stop the delays. You want to, I'm getting almost let your hair down, literally. Let your hair down and let things be wild and free. Perhaps it's been a while since you've gotten a haircut, or with everything going on in the world, and there's a little bit of wildness in the hair. I get, though, that this wildness, if it's coming, it's certainly something that you've chosen, and not something that is being forced on you. This desire to want to be wild and free, not to be a caged bird, I'm getting. And there is a little bird emblem at the center in between all of this intricate pattern that looks a little bit trapped in there, if I'm being quite honest. Very, very interesting. I also get from the pin, obviously, these standards of beauty, right? Perhaps you've been able to indulge in a little bit of self-care, and you're recognizing, or you will be indulging in some self-care in May, and you're recognizing almost this unique ability to find the beauty in yourself, finding that you are this beautiful, intricate thing that that should be treasured, right? That should be almost memorialized. I get, for some of you in the month of May, you're looking to bust out because you are this beautiful thing. But there's something about you that about your beauty, about your confidence perhaps, that you have kept on the shelf. You've made into an antique. There's something about you needing to take yourself off the shelf and put yourself out there, right? You were made to be seen. You were made to shine. You were made to be this beautiful, ornate thing. And there's something about hiding that, about it being cloaked in hair and in a place that's inconspicuous, perhaps in a drawer that you haven't opened in quite some time because you don't feel like somebody that that is this beautiful thing that you in fact are. I get this sense of trying to cling to that, trying to hold on to it. Also a sense of being malleable. Perhaps you're changing something about your looks in particular in May. Very nice. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and jump into the tarot and the oracle cards and see what we get from that. Never-ending story. And not for you. Very, very interesting. First, this idea of the never-ending story. You could, in fact, be a creative person. I see this very often in my creative personal readings for people that are creatives. This idea that there is something never-ending. There is something, a story to be told. I very much get that imagery with this idea of you holding your beautiful ornate pattern back from the world, keeping it in a drawer. There's something about you that needs to be taken out of the drawer and shown to the world. Perhaps some courage, perhaps you need to build yourself up into this material that is tough yet malleable, right? In order to tell this story, in order to get a victory in this story. The number 37 breaking down to a 10, a completion, which is a bit of a contradiction, right? With never-ending story, and with the number 10 in particular, because 10s usually represent endings. I'm getting a whole new world. It's time. You've been sitting on the shelf for way too long, and it is time to start a new chapter for you, charm number 1. There is this idea of repetitiveness. There's this idea of being stuck on this pedestal that you never planned to put yourself on. This woman hides her face, and there's something about her that she's trying to hide. There's something about her that she doesn't want the world to see. And I see some exhaustion here too. This is obviously a very singular energy. Perhaps with this combination of the never-ending story and not for you, you're coming into this realization in May that there are things that you have poured yourself into, your life into, and it's time. It's time for completion. It's time to stop beating your head against a wall here. I get this image of talking to a wall, of reaching for something that is very much inaccessible. I mean, this person is on a pedestal, but what is there? What is there except for the time underneath her that has come and gone, right? Is she getting any reward for the waiting, for the commitment that she has shown to this person, this thing, this goal? is she getting anything from it? Because from her expression, I feel there's a lot of frustration. Her wings are down. There is no flight in her. And perhaps you realize that you've put so much time into something repetitive that refuses to change. And now you're coming into a knowing that this is not for you. It's interesting because this card is number 6, and it makes me think very much of the 6 of Cups. I'm getting that here. You want a reason. There's something about the past that feels like it's so repetitive that you've perhaps gone through it and lived through it in another life. You've kept this same fortune, right? You've been pulling the same fortune out of the same fortune cookie since you were a child, or even since before that, for multiple lives. There's a face inside of this. Remember how I said I got a bird cage from this? There's a face inside of this window that looks trapped. It's time to open the window and let that bird out. This cookie is not for you, right? There are more cookies out in the universe, and it's time to almost be methodical with this chessboard and move towards a different fortune, towards a different future. Because this one, it's not, I feel, going to change the way that you'd like it to. Sometimes we can't change people, we can't change situations, no matter how much effort we put into getting that together, into making that whole, complete, tidy. It's time sometimes to remove that pin and to let the hair roam free, and to be a little wild and go out and meet people and do different things. Obviously, whenever everything opens back up, don't go out and be unsafe. But this definite need to revise a story, to pick a different chapter, pick a different story, open up a different book. Let's see what we've got here. Truth. Yeah. What's interesting too is for this particular card of truth, the flower listed is the bittersweet nightshade and the mourning cloak. Mourning as in mourning. This idea again of an ending. There's something to be mourned and to let go, and realizing too that if you continue feeding into this thing, into this person, into this life path, into this endeavor, there is something, the truth is that there's something bittersweet there. Perhaps it's time, the truth is trying to tell you that it's time to mourn the loss, mourn the end with that 10. And I get a sense of gratitude almost for the new beginning that awaits you once you acknowledge that it is time for something to be over. Perhaps this time alone, right? This time, because she sits on time. She sits on one of these sand thingy-mabobbers. And perhaps that time, this time in isolation, this time unable to move, unable to spread your wings, unable to let your hair down and be a little wild and free, that has brought this great truth to you, that there is something repetitive about your life that you need to mourn, that you need to let go of and close the chapter on. The card of sincerity here, this truth, as difficult as it is, right, to open that cage and confront these emotions of the beautiful thing that you've clearly put a lot of effort into, this direction that you've put a lot of, walked a lot of miles in. There is something sincere, and I almost get the sense of there's a self-care in being sincere with yourself and being this truthful with yourself, this honest with yourself, and deciding that something is not for you. I think some of you, I see some of you deciding that school is not for you. It's funny that I'm getting that in particular. I also see that some of you, the more time that you've spent in isolation with somebody, the more that you've realized that they are not for you. There is something bittersweet, but also a sincerity. When we are honest with ourselves, as hard as it is, as difficult and challenging as it can be to tell ourselves the truth, there is a sincere form of mothering, of self-love that comes from that. Embrace that, right? I give blessings. I am forgiving. I am peaceful. And I invoke laughter. Yeah, being at peace with the decision to let something go. Being at peace and almost with the sincerity, I almost get laughing about it. I get you may not be able to laugh now, but you'll be able to laugh later. One of these situations that might hurt during the process, right? But as you release, as you let go, you realize, man, remember when I used to have a crush on X, Y, and Z? Why? That person is such an idiot. Why was I ever into them, right? Or I'm so glad now that I have perspective, that I changed course because that path that I was on was not for me. There is a different pattern, a different destination for me, okay? I think with this I Am Peaceful card, we've got this time capsule again. For some reason, the name is escaping me of what these are, but you get the drift, and that is also here on this card. Peaceful in waiting, I get too. Being patient with yourself, right? As you pick another cookie, another fortune cookie, another direction to travel in, being calm with the self, laughing at yourself almost. It's okay for us to laugh at ourselves. It helps with healing, right? When we are this sincere with ourselves, we have to laugh, we have to breathe, we have to forgive. This to me feels very much like we're not just forgiving ourselves; we're forgiving the people and the things around us that we know are no longer for us. If you've spent 8 years trying to get through college and you're just now coming to the realization that that is not for you, you can forgive yourself of the time that you put in, the dedication, right? And understand that changing course is not negative. In fact, it's a sign of quite a bit of maturity, right? It's a sign that you are being true to yourself. You can forgive yourself for that time gone, and thank. I'm getting thank yourself that the blessing has come. This blessing of truth, no matter how much it might hurt. Thank yourself that this blessing has come for transformation, for change, right? Because I can't think of anything worse. Perhaps this is because I'm a Scorpio in particular, and Scorpios love transformation. We love change, right? I can't think of anything worse than making it to the finish line of something, of a relationship, of a goal, of anything, really, of a story even, and realizing that this bittersweet moment with this bittersweet nightshade here of, wow, I made it, but I feel nothing now that I'm here, right? I held on for a very long time, and I'm sure there's something to be said about my diligence and in getting something done, but at the end of the day, what did I hold on for? This fortune doesn't feel very much like a fortune. It doesn't feel like a prize, because this path does not resonate with my spirit anymore. The Three of Cups, a celebration. I love that this Three of Cups came here. First, with this, I give blessings, or this idea of being thankful for blessings, for truth. I see very much this idea of gratitude, right? But also thanking the people that have the people in the paths that you've been down that are not for you. It's not until we get the taste of something that we don't love, that we don't want, that we realize how much we do want something different. There's something to be grateful for there, right? Thank you for showing me that you are not the one, that you are not the path, right? And that I see a celebration here, right? Perhaps you're in May, you're coming together with friends, you're communicating your emotions about this, right? And they are helping you to forgive, to move on. I see some of you too reconciling with friends or lovers that you've had to forgive, right? Because they refuse to change. Perhaps this never-ending story is a second wind into something that you felt was beautiful. Getting some friendships put back together. I see this communication happening where you've disconnected from people And this time alone has made you think, wow, I really need my tribe going forward. So perhaps calling and communicating with people that you care about, and giving forgiveness, thanking them for a blessing, right? And instead of terminating something, right? Instead of putting something in a drawer, you're taking it back out. Something that made you feel alive, something that made you feel intricate and full of glory, full of life, right? Very, very nice. With the Page of Wands here, passionate communication incoming. We'll see where the rest of the cards lay out here. I get the sense that this is more from our friendships, from our co-workers even, a realization that you can't do this alone. Yeah, it's like what I was just saying. The idea that when you're faced with a situation and you finally get to taste it, right? Tasting here with the three cups, and you realize there's something bitter about the taste of something. You realize what you do want instead of what you don't, and perhaps being alone in this repetitive, everyday, monotonous, watching the clock tick, right? Watching paint dry even. Perhaps you're realizing that you don't want to be alone anymore, and you're reaching out to people to celebrate, right? To let your hair down when the time is right, opening up the lines of passionate communication to bring balance, to bring joy back into your life in the month of May. This feeling of reciprocity. Yeah, reciprocating. Reciprocating. Let's see what else we have here. The Fountain, you're starting something new. I feel, some of you, like, you are literally snapping this pin altogether. There's something about this pattern that you know is not for you, and you're starting over. You're starting over completely because you realize this cup is half empty. This cup is half empty. I'm at the 6 and I've got a way to go. I need to bring balance and perspective back into my life. And part of that could obviously have to do with finances, right? Getting your finances together, right? Asking people for help if you're having issues with finances this month. Realizing that there's people in your corner, right? I think too, some of you, and I hate to say it because I know that there's so much pain in the world right now, not just from a health perspective, but from a economic perspective, right? A distance from the people that we care about, this yearning to reconnect. I get that some of you might have lost income here. And you realize that as painful as it is, right? As painful as it is to not have that, to have something abruptly taken from you, right? You also realize that this was not for you anyways. And there is a little bit of hope. There is a little bit of peace. There is a little bit of laughter in that the universe has brought this to you in a way that you didn't expect, but that is opening a brand new beginning for you. Very, very nice. Two of Swords here. Yeah, this falling here in this area of sincerity, of truth, of kind of getting yourself unblocked. I see this as you, eyes wide open. Eyes wide open. It's time to really take a look in the month of May, to put these swords down, to take this blindfold off, and to be honest with yourself. What's interesting is typically when we see the Two of Swords in the tarot, traditionally there's a woman that sits on a pillar and she refuses to touch the water behind her. There is something about this particular representation where you're in the water, right? There's something graceful about you putting the weight of these swords down, an inner strength that you've found with these swords that weigh heavy on the hands. You opening up and raising those swords to the sky and trying to, get that blindfold to kind of wiggle off of you. There's like an openness here. And I think that you're taking the plunge into this truth, into this sincerity in the month of May. Taking the plunge very much into this deep inner knowing. I see healing too. The Two of Swords asks us to make a choice, and a choice in the mind, right? Of what is and what is not for you. What is it that you can open your arms to, right? And what is it that you need to guard yourself from at this point? What is it that is not for you? That is, I feel, the question that is most pivotal for you in the month of May. Make a list of it. What is it that is not for you that you have come to the realization in this month that no longer serves you, that is not a part of this intricate path, right? That you are plotting, that you are planning? What is it that you have to keep your swords crossed for? And what is it that you can release and open your arms wide to? Regardless, I want you to know that the universe is with you. Change is coming. This idea of us turning the page, a new chapter. I feel for this particular charm like a new breath of life. Honestly, like I feel emotionally and even my shoulders, like I'm like rolling them back like this woman is. There's something about feeling free to open up now. A weight lifted off your shoulders, literally, with this release of something that wasn't for you. When we remove the boundaries, when we remove those things from our life that are there and present but serve no purpose, in fact, sometimes do quite the opposite. When we remove those things, there is a moment of sadness, right? Because we're so used to this thing, even if it's not good for us. We're used to it, and there's a comfort in the known versus the unknown. Sometimes we look at this empty space that something has left when we remove it, and we think, well, what in the world am I going to be filling that with? There's almost a sense of panic, right? Even though this thing, this person, this goal is bad for me, I very much need to keep it because it is what I know. With this, again, this Six of Cups imagery that I'm getting of the past, of this is the life I've always lived, even in previous lifetimes, right? What do I do if that path is not the one that I thought it would be? Know that you will be coming into this place where you feel, instead of an anxiety in that empty space, a hope, my cup is not half empty, it's half full, and I cannot wait. I am so excited to fill that cup the rest of the way with my air, with my oxygen, with my with love, with a true path, a path that is true for me, a new fortune. I love that it ended with the Wheel of Fortune there. Very, very nice. We have get centered here as one of your affirmations. When it gets to be too much, whatever it is, I close my eyes and return to my center. In my center, I have the wisdom and tranquility of a blank. You're supposed to put a favorite animal there. Holding a blank, a magical item, floating through space on a blank, a piece of furniture. I will put that up close in case if you want to screenshot it and fill in the gaps yourself. Like I said, this idea of filling the emptiness, right? Filling your center with something that does bring you peace, that does bring you tranquility, this idea of breathing, of breath. Again, feeling like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders and new oxygen is pumping through your veins for the first time, I feel, for some of you in a very, very long time. Okay? Manifestation. If you could have anything you wanted, what would it be? Get specific and get greedy. You are holding a magic wand and you can conjure up anything. This does look like a bit of a wand, doesn't it? Could it be that when you declare your wishes out loud, you're actually casting a spell for your dreams to come true? Or is it just that, in a very practical sense, the more people you speak with about your desires, the more folks there are who know what you want and might have the means to help you make them happen? Either way, stop waiting and start manifesting. But don't use that word if you don't want to. Very, very nice. This is a bonus card. If you get one of these bonus cards out of the deck, that means that it's an extra special message that was truly, truly, truly meant for you. Okay? for your archetype, oh, yeah, the mentor here. It's funny because this talks about asking friends for help, and we did cover that with the Three of Cups here. Asking people about this new chapter, right? Especially if you are in a place where you have lost your income, getting centered about what it is that you want and reaching out to people in your community, right? To find a new path, to find something that is in fact for you. And this card of the mentor coming out, somebody that can help you achieve those goals, right? Very, very nice. I'm going to pull the book, obviously, for this, and we'll go through the meaning of this one in particular. This very much has a work career, and for some of you, like I had mentioned, a school vibe to it. Finding that role model, that example that is going to help you realign your path. Being your own mentor even, right? Here is this in the event that you'd like to screenshot it. The mentor, the teacher, the sage, the guru. It is said that cosmic knowledge pours down on the world like a great illuminated waterfall. This can be an overwhelming force. The true teacher, though, is said to be able to hold this flow of wisdom at bay, while the student sips from a focused stream. That very much makes me think of this glass half full, right? Sipping from that stream instead of the idea that you've lost something. The mentor archetype has a gift for reading the room, for sensing the exact ingredient that will stimulate growth within the student, whether pleasant or painful. The mentor may appear aloof or available, harsh or tender, humorous or rigid. Their gift is to know what serves the soul. Ultimately, the mentor is in service of the greater cosmic good and aids in the elevation of consciousness. Any time the mentor forgets this humble link and mistakes themselves for the source of enlightenment, the archetype falls into shadow. I see very much this need to, for some of you, get mentors, but also to be your own mentor. Right? This idea, again, of speaking truth to yourself, whether pleasant or painful, right? And being able to laugh, being able to be harsh or tender, humorous or rigid, whatever it is that serves your highest purpose, that will get you to a place where you are figuring out what it is that you do and don't want and manifesting the things that you do to get that glass back to completely full, right? When light, focused, clear, bright, remains a student. When dark, self-serving, envious of youth, righteous and rigid. Go deeper, the riddles of Zen masters and their students. Keep in mind how easy it is to project power onto another. The expressions feet of clay and cult of personality exist for a reason. Although it's typically true that parents are our initial teachers, the child will eventually seek a mentor figure outside of the home to assist their growth. Who is your mentor in the month of May, charm number 1? Please let me know. I hope that this reading resonated with you. I hope that you found some advice, some wisdom, right? Some hope for the month ahead, and that it provided to you with some clarity and some value in your life. I want to thank you so much again for coming back and for tuning in, and let you know that by the time that this video goes up, I believe I will have a brand new giveaway on the day, actually, that this video goes up, for a new tarot deck. So feel free to follow me on social media and put yourself in the running for that, okay? We've given a lot of decks away so far, and I plan on doing that, even bigger and bigger giveaways in the future. So please join me there. Any suggestions, anything that you'd like to see, leave a comment down below. I've been screenshotting every suggestion that I've gotten so far, and some of those videos have already been recorded for the channel, so I'm always open to what it is that you'd like to see here. I wish you so much luck in the month of May. Thank you so much again for choosing my channel, and hopefully I see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Alrighty, if you picked charm number 2, then this is the reading for you on what you can expect in the month of May 2020. You have picked this charm of two birds on a wire in this sphere, a beautiful sphere that is very ornate here. I get a lot from this charm. I feel very strongly that if you have picked charm number 2, then you have connection on your mind. This idea of human connection, emotional and mental connection, perhaps even spiritual connection. I see very much here a need, a desire to be closer to someone. When I look at these images of these two birds, I get the Six of Cups, I get the Lovers, I get the Two of Cups, two people trying to bridge a distance, a gap, and come closer. It's funny because if you look at the bird on the right, he is the one, or she is the one, that is scooting over a little bit closer. I get this image of a first date or a second date at a movie theater. You know, when somebody tries to make a move and put their arm, yawning, playfully trying to put their arm over another person, that bird on the right is trying to put its wing over this bird on the left here. I get very much this sense of connectedness, perhaps thinking deeply about how to bridge a gap on this wire, on this tight wire. I'm getting, a wire with tension that is difficult to keep our balance on. How do I make it? How do I shimmy across this divide and put my wing over the shoulder of another, perhaps somebody that I feel is a soulmate, somebody that I could be in a long distance relationship with, or that I haven't spoken to in some time, but they're in my world, they're in my mind, they're in my sphere. It's interesting because as I said sphere, I thought very much of this song. I typically don't get songs unless I ask for them in readings, and it is a song by a band called Death Cab for Cutie. I know I am a weirdo. I am a bit of a weirdo, and I'm into some weird stuff, but it's a beautiful band. It's one of my all-time favorite bands, and there's a song called Transatlanticism that I thought of when I saw this, when I said sphere specifically. The lyrics of that song, they speak of distance. They speak of somebody that clearly somebody has a connection to, that they're trying to bridge the gap with. I believe, I don't know the initial lyrics. I don't remember them off the top of my head, but in the middle of the song, the singer says, I was standing on the surface of a perforated sphere when the water filled every hole, and thousands upon thousands made an ocean, making islands where no island should go. Oh no. Most people were overjoyed. They took to their boats. I thought it less like a lake and more like a moat, the rhythm of my footsteps crossing flatlands to your door have been silenced forevermore. And the distance is quite simply much too far for me to row. It seems farther than ever before. Oh no. And in the song, he repeats the phrase, I need you so much closer, over and over and over again. And at the end, there's this invitation almost, where he says, I need you so much closer, so come on. A beautiful song, a bit bittersweet though. Perhaps you're feeling a bit of a bittersweet connection to somebody that you are very much drawn to with that Six of Cups imagery, somebody that you feel destined to be with. And you are trying to row your boat across this thin wire, a delicate dance, a delicate balance in the month of May to be closer. Now, obviously, this doesn't have to speak of anything romantically specifically. You could be trying to bridge this gap and to come into a place of connection with a friend, with a family member, right? With a sibling, with your community. There's so many different ways to read that charm. It doesn't just have to be from a romantic sense, but I sense very much that, particularly for charm number 2, there is a desire for love, a desire for connection, to put your wing back over an inaccessible bird's shoulder and to not fall off the thin wire. I almost said thin red line. In order to make that happen. Certainly with everything going on in the world and with us being so isolated from people, this idea of isolation, of feeling like there's a moat around you. It's not even a lake, it's a moat, right? Water often represents emotions in the tarot, and perhaps there's so much emotion, so much disappointment, time gone by, mistakes that have started to fill every hole in this connection, creating a distance, creating an ocean where there was no ocean before, shifting the landscape almost, making the distance so great that we feel like we'll never get to this person's door again. Very, very interesting. I get too, for some of you, there's this need for protection in the month of May. You're looking for family, friends, a lover perhaps, to tell you that everything is going to be okay. That things are going to work out, that the world, the sphere, will continue moving, will continue rotating on its axis, that very much there's always a tomorrow. I'm getting. We will watch the sun rise again. We will watch the sun rise once more. Very, very interesting. I'm being told that I need one more, so I ask that you just be patient with me as we get these cards out. I feel, though, for some of you there is a sadness about a connection that cannot be bridged. If only it were that easy, right? To bridge this distance, but the wire is too. I'm getting like it cuts like barbed wire for some of you. Wow, and you're trying very, very much to feel like man, can I bridge that gap? Can I bridge that distance? I'm gonna keep this here because the moon card showed its face, and I feel that's very relevant to where we're going here with this reading. For some of you, this certainly could be reconnecting with family, not just in presence, but looking for like a deep emotion to fill this hole, to fill all the gaps in it, all the holes in it, filling them with water. Perhaps you're trying to build an ocean between you and another person, right? Perhaps that ocean of emotion, you want to float in that. You want to feel alive in that love. For charm number 2, please. The card of agape at the bottom. Agape love, that true love, unconditional love, right? Very interesting. We'll see where this is headed, obviously. Card of community coming up first, and happy. Yeah, I feel like if you this being at the center, you feeling like if you can close the gap, if you can bring community together, if you can have a victory with bringing these people closer to you, then you'll reach this place of happy. You'll reach this place of joy, of fulfillment. There's somebody on your mind. I get two for some of you. This could be children specifically. Perhaps you are making a child. You made a little coronavirus baby with this imagery here of this giraffe kissing a little baby on the head, right? Bringing new life into the world, a victory in a conception almost. And even here, this woman is happy, sitting cross-legged on an egg, perhaps an egg that she is hatching, that she is in this incubation period with, right? Of cooking it up and keeping it warm for the eventual moment where it cracks and something new, a child comes into the picture. This is the 8 card, and this card here, 26, breaks down to an 8. So 8s could be something very special to you. You could be giving birth in the month of August, for example. There could be something about the angel number 88 specifically, if you Google that might stand out and resonate to you regarding this particular reading. Trying to bridge, to bring people together in order to reach this happy place. Pride. And memory. Wow. Like I said, I got that 6 of Cups, that 2 of Cups, the lovers. This idea that you've lived another life with somebody. You've been on the same timeline, the parallel before this line of time. There's something that is all-encompassing about this person's presence in your mind, in your memory, and you are asking them very much, like it says on this card, forget me not, remember me always. This could be somebody that you've never even met before, somebody that you look at from afar. This idea of watching people, of people watching, birds on a wire, right? You watch as this person works its way around your vicinity, around your orbit, and you want to send a message saying, "I'm here. Do not forget me, lover. Do not forget me, family. Do not forget me, connection." Perhaps some of you are in this period of isolation, and you worry that somebody will forget you. The card of pride coming over community, this could be that water. Like that saying, water under a bridge, but in this case, it's water that has, made the journey impossible to get across the bridge. It's taken over the bridge. I get Lake Pontchartrain. I get New Orleans, the big, that big bridge that connects the North Shore to New Orleans, and this idea of that being flooded over, of that road being inaccessible because of pride, because of things that have gotten under the bridge to the point that it's created an ocean. That those lyrics, even more now, stand out to me even deeper. What was that? The part about making islands where no island should go, and most people being overjoyed and taking to their boats. It felt less like a lake and more like a moat. Yeah, that's right. Less like a lake and more like a moat. There's something about this water that has grown so high, so tall, that it has made paths to bridge the gap inaccessible, right? So high that you can't even fly over it. Very, very interesting. Perhaps it's time to release the pride, right? To let pride go, to create harmony here in this situation, right? Trustful in my relationships, yeah. Again, I get the message here. Remember how I had mentioned before that this could be somebody that you don't even know, and you're trying to will them with your mind to remember you. I always get the vision of telepathy, specifically with this card, of you thinking of somebody in a thought bubble and hoping, like, maybe I can get this message if I think long and hard enough. Maybe I can get this message to this person. If this is regarding children specifically, trusting that you will be a good parent, that you will be a good mother or a good father, right? Understanding too that it takes a village, it takes a tribe, and you have a community ready to support you in this in this endeavor, not being afraid to ask for help or to show vulnerability and fear in bringing a child into the world. There's a lot out there to be afraid of, right? But there is also a great beauty, a great joy in creation, okay, in bringing life into the world. And creating harmony, right? Letting go of our pride and being at peace with the things that we are creating, right? Perhaps this child, this will be more harmonious than you imagine. But your pride is making it so that you think it's more difficult than it needs to be, and you're not asking the right questions from the people that are close to you regarding this particular transition. The Six of Cups, there's that Six of Cups that I was talking about. The Three of Swords. Yeah, I feel for some of you there's a certain pain. This came out reversed, which is interesting. I keep them upright. We're going to take that as a sign. Oh, gosh. Charm number 2. Wow. You have got something beautiful brewing here. For those of you that are looking for love. Wow. Obviously, I'm going to go through each card, but this one's going to take a minute. Okay. First, we have the Six of Wands. The Six of Cups, that idea again of childhood for those of you that are birthing a new child into the world. Some heartbreak, some tension, some fear revolving that, and feeling like you're inadequate, like you're not good enough, like you won't get there to a place where you can be the mother, the Queen of Cups, the giver, the one that gives of her cup so freely that she floods the world with joy and with love, right? This idea of motherhood. There's a victory here with the Six of Wands. There's a victory incoming. If you are bringing life into the world, if the Wheel of Fortune is moving in that specific direction, and you will find a place of balance in the month of May with your thoughts, with your emotions about this feeling of inadequacy, this feeling of not being able to bring yourself in from the cold mentally and emotionally, from this place of this is scary, I might not be good enough to do this. The Ace of Cups at the center, again, this idea of new life, new love, new birth. This is something that you will be able to manifest. The Wheel of Fortune coming out again. It came out for the first reading, and it's shown its face again here, which is quite beautiful. I feel like with all this time for contemplation, we're not just focused on getting to a specific destination, we're focused on getting there right. The right way, the way that is almost will assure success for us, right? If this is love in particular, and you have wanted so desperately to, you've been in this period of heartbreak about somebody that you have known from the past, somebody that you have this deep soulmate connection with that makes you feel like a kid again, who you want to put your wing over. And to bridge the gap with, this heartbreak will soon come to an end. There is somebody coming in from the cold here, warming yourselves in the light, in the ambiance of this beautiful sacred church, of this sacred space that you both had perhaps built for one another before, but a distance came between you. I see somebody coming in with an offer with the Knight of Cups. You could be obviously a water sign in particular, but or this could be a water sign that you are thinking of, but somebody coming in to offer communication, love, an apology. I'm getting a confession. A confession that you were the one, you are the person that I think about. You make me happy, and I want to incubate this egg with you. I want to bring this egg all the way to life, because this egg, if you rewind a little bit and you recall, it's so big. It's bigger than the person that is sitting above it, and so you wonder, wow. How long you been sitting on this egg for, right? That's a big baby you got there. This is something that has grown in memory for a very, very long time. I also get 2 and 6, this idea of the Six of Cups, right? And the Two of Cups, two people that have felt fated for a while coming together from the past. 2 coming in from the Six of Cups, right? Very, very nice. Certainly bridging this gap. doing the delicate dance on this wire to bring somebody closer. And this Knight of Cups, that invitation that I had mentioned in the final lyrics of that song, I need you so much closer, so come on. Okay, like let's stop with the nonsense and get the show on the road. Okay, I need you, you need me. We know it. It's written in the stars. So come on, we are making this happen. I see a victory here, a passionate victory. I see recognition from this person that is on your mind, that is from your past, perhaps, right? I see that there is a celebration, a glee. This person, perhaps a little bit more, a little bit of physical intimacy here too, because this person lays on a bed of passion, on a bed of victory, and looks gleefully at the other wands surrounding her. So perhaps there's a physical connection that takes place here with this rebirth, with this renewal of love, of a cup overflowing, right? Something that is destined, again, this idea of the Two of Cups, this mirroring that these two birds specifically are doing around this sphere, just like our charm here, coming together to bask in the same watering pond. That imagery of water coming over the bridge, you can cross the ocean here, that lake here. The road is cleared now, and I see this heart mending, and people coming in from the cold to share this beautiful love in a mature way, in a way that very much feels like complete, right? And I feel too this with the Ace of Cups and this particular representation of it in the tarot, this idea that this water has been building for so long that the dams are about to break, like the levees have breached, and you have to get it out of you. I often say, particularly in my personal readings, that the Queen of Cups is a queen that has so much love to give, so much love. This is a great representation of it too, because she actually stands in her own water here, completely submerged. She has so much of that emotion to give that if she doesn't give it to somebody else, she will drown in it, okay? I get the sense here that you are able to finally give of that cup to another, have them drink the same drink, replenishing one another in this beautiful, mature way, and manifesting, making it happen, right? I get like the light in my eye, the this idea, almost like the water in my eye. Wow, yeah, wow. Because if you look at this magician, it's almost like he holds a cup. He holds a cup up to his own eye, and I get the water in my eye, as in the tears in my own eyes. Like, you are that love, you are that water, and that water has poured out of the lid of the tear duct for so long that you are literally a part of the water that comes out of me, and the emotion that comes out of me, and you're finally being able to make a connection with that water. You've collected it for so long. I see like a reservoir here that you've collected these tears and this love, this emotion for this person. You're ready to give it, like this Queen of Cups does. Fortune favors the bold, right? And you are favored here in this quest to turn a new chapter in regards to this beautiful love and to bring balance to this equation. I get to this. You could be literally moving into with one another, with this Five of Coins being reversed, and this idea of coming in from the cold, and two threes, right? Because the 6 is 2 threes merging. You see it here too. The 3 coins on the top and the 3 coins on the bottom mirroring each other like soulmates, right? Merging home, perhaps, really committing. With the traditional imagery of the 6 of Pentacles, I get this. You see these beggars that somebody gives change to, and the card speaks sometimes of financial codependence. I see a willing dependence, right? Not a codependence in a toxic way, a dependence in I trust you, I love you, let's give cups to each other and bring balance and almost shackle ourselves to one another here. In not just an emotional sense, but in a practical sense as well. Well, charm number 2. Patience and engagement. Wow. Okay. Let's see. Patience here. Congratulations, you've been granted more patience. You may start using it right away or much, much later. Waiting a long time is the sort of option now afforded to you by greater patience. Can you believe it? Look at this, you're still reading and you haven't started getting annoyed yet. Imagine how this patience will transform your life. Imagine how easy it will be to go to the post office. A bonus card here for you. When you get a bonus card in this deck, it means that this message was certainly intended for you. This idea of the Six of Cups, of long waiting, right? Rowing your boat endlessly to a specific person, a specific destination, a family member even, or to childbirth. This this idea of a child floating in fluid, and them finally rowing their boat to birth, to creation. And then you have the card of engagement here. Today, I make the conscious choice to engage with the world in an active way. I take a new route and talk to strangers. I smell flowers and pet dogs. And maybe walk around barefoot for a while if I'm not inside a 7-Eleven. At the very least, I'll have a day that's slightly more interesting than average, and at most I'll have a startling epiphany or make a friend who will change my life forever. No pressure. Engagement, obviously, taking it literally. Some of you, like I said, you're coming together with somebody from the past. You are joining cups. You are coming in from the cold, engaging as in taking your relationship back and reaching this higher level of commitment, I feel, too. Something that you've long patiently waited for. Very, very nice. I get too with this talking to strangers. Some of you, this doesn't have to be love specifically. You just want to feel love in regards to human connection in general, right? You want to put your arm around somebody because it's lonely being on this wire if both of these birds are on opposite sides of the sphere. So you're engaging with your community, becoming more talkative, and realizing that even in our small interactions of getting a cup of coffee once everything is safe when it's safe to do that, obviously, that kind of engagement opens us to love and starts us on a new chapter. And perhaps you're making a friend here that will change your life forever, that will make you happy forever, right? Very, very nice. The seed here at the bottom, this beautiful pearl at the center. Again, some of you are bringing a seed into the world. Some of you are actually creating. And I feel some of you are finally picking this oyster that has stood under this bridge, under all this water. And you're opening it, and you're finally able to delight in actually getting the pearl out. All the sand and grit that has made this pearl. Finally, you're able to reap the rewards of it, to pluck this seed from the ground. Very nice. Obviously, I'll get the book definition for you as well. The book always does it more justice than I can. Just flipping to that page. Bear with me one moment. What a beautiful reading for charm number 2. Here's that in the event that you'd like to screenshot it. The seed, the beginning, the origin, the pearl. Beginnings come in many forms. They are not always a beautiful seed placed intentionally in nourishing soil. Origin stories, like any birth story, are complex, surprising, multi-layered, and usually reveal a central image or detail that represents the fully formed being. Simply stated, the end is present in the beginning, or the entire oak tree resides within the acorn. Whether you follow this imaginal theory or not, know that when this card appears, there is potent generative energy all around. It stirs your very insides and usually results in an antsy, impatient feeling. Pay particular attention to what agitates you, as it is a sure sign of growth to come. You are bumping up against a growth edge. It is from the grit that the pearl eventually comes to be. There's that exact verbiage there. It is from the grit that the pearl eventually comes to be. It could be from heartache, from a disconnection, that you finally get to pluck your pearl, right? Very, very nice. When light, generative, fertile, germinating and building. When dark, festering, stewing and dormant. Go deeper. James Hillman's acorn theory in The Soul's Code. One of the alchemist's favorite images was the pearl. The irritant, over time, becomes the treasure. What is your grit? What is the thing that is causing this Three of Swords, right? What is the irritant that will eventually turn you into a pearl? Some of you, perhaps not even coming into union, but a realization that this has made you a better lover, a distance, a disconnection, that it has taught you so many lessons that you are ready to take into a new relationship that is coming, that is manifesting for you, that you will be victorious in. And thankfully, because of that seed, because of that irritant, you have reached this growth edge where you're finally able to pluck the seed and reap the rewards. The true seed is elusive. If we follow any story toward its origin, it spirals farther and farther back in time. In this way, we are always the seed and always the fruit it bears. What a beautiful message to end your reading on, charm number 2. I hope that you found some resonance in this. Please let me know what this is in the comments down below. I obviously wish you the best of luck in the month of May. I thank you so much for coming back to the channel and spending a little bit of time with me, like old friends catching up, right? I very much would like to know how it is that this particular reading has resonated with you. I do have a giveaway that I will be announcing today, I believe, the same day that this video comes out. On my Instagram. So if you are into tarot decks and you would like to try to win a new tarot deck, then by all means, please feel free to join me there. Again, so much luck with this situation for some of you coming into this beautiful reconnection and union. Congratulations. This is certainly what it feels like love is at the essence, at its core, right? So good for you. Good for her. Good for her. Alrighty, hopefully I see you in my next video. Please stay safe out there, all right? Bye-bye. Hello, if you picked charm number 3, then this is the reading for you on what you can expect in the month of May 2020. You have picked the charm of the plate, a empty nameplate, a dog tag, almost something that hangs on a pendant, that hangs over the heart, over the chest, right, over the heart space. I get a lot of things from this particular charm. One is this idea of protection, right? Putting on a blank face, a blank expression over the heart, to not have to open that up, to not have to show people what's inside. This idea that there's something here that needs to remain hidden, that needs to remain secret or a mystery. Something perhaps that your heart has been mulling over, marinating over, and you're afraid or weary of showing that to the world. I get here too from this plate, this idea of legacy, of what will my legacy be? What will the trophy, the nameplate that holds my name at the end of the day, what will that say? What will it tell about me? What story will that tell about me? How will my name, how will my story be remembered through generations? As I say story, I'm reminded of I'm seeing an image of Carmen Ejogo in the show True Detective. For those of you that haven't watched that series yet, that particular season, I think it's the third season or fourth season, if I'm not mistaken. And it's Carmen Njogo, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and Mahershala Ali star in this particular season. And there's this idea of, there's a lot of poetry, a lot of literary references that run through that show, through that season. And when I say tell me a story, I'm reminded of a poem by Robert Warren called Tell Me a Story. And I feel like a lot of you in the month of May are erasing the story of the past, trying to find out, trying to get your heart, perhaps, because this dangles over the heart, right? To tell you a story about who you are, about where you're going, about what your legacy will be, about how it is that you will be memorialized and remembered. In that poem, the author says, tell me a story in this century and moment of mania. Tell me a story. Make it a story of great distances and starlight. The name of the story will be time, but you cannot say its name. Tell me a story of great delight. There's something about that poem in particular where I feel like you're trying to ask your heart in the month of May to tell you a story, right? Tell you a story of great delight, to etch that into this charm, into your future path. What is it that, what is it? What story am I meant to live out next? I've erased what is there. I've erased the past, and I'm ready to start a new story, to write a new record. And I get very much from this desire to tell a new story, to almost, I get like hitch the horses and the wagons, but we're headed towards a new destination here. We don't like where we've been, although we do carry the lessons of where it is that we've been. We want a different destination. Very, very interesting. I get this desire perhaps to want to start with a blank slate, to want to not relive a story of the past. There's this yearning for newness, for even freedom, right? Free from boundaries of the past with this particular charm. You know, not to inundate this reading with poetry, but in that particular show, there is another poem that, obviously as a writer, I geek out about this stuff, but there's another poem that, because I keep getting, there's a lot of debate in this particular poem about secrecy, about not showing your cards almost. There's something about time. The name of the story is Time, and you cannot say its name. There's like a rule that you cannot say the name of the story. And I wonder, coming into May, what it is that you're keeping secret, what it is that you don't, like, this thing is too precious for you to say its name out loud. And when we think, that makes me think of another poem that is also in the story. I actually, this poem has a great meaning to me, and I keep it next to my desk here. It's a poem by Delmore Schwartz. And let me grab that. And I'll read that to you while we shuffle here. The poem says, "What will become of you and me besides the photo and the memory?" right? This idea of memory, of legacy, of photos, something hung on a wall. This almost looks like those old Victorian portraits where you'd put a silhouette of a person in them, right? What will become of you and me besides the photo and the memory? This is the school in which we learn. That time is the fire in which we burn. What is the self amidst this blaze? What am I now that I was then, which I shall suffer and act again? This idea of trying to outrun the past, starting with a clean slate and still making the same mistakes again and again, like we're on a loop in infinite. We were made to make these mistakes again and again. If you believe in reincarnation, this idea that on this life, you're trying to break from the pattern that you lived in the old one, right? The children shouting are bright as they run. This is the school in which they learn. What am I now that I was then? May memory restore again and again. The smallest color of the smallest day. Time is the school in which we learn. Time is the fire in which we burn. This theory of time, this theory of that being the thing that we're burning in right now. What will you burn for tomorrow? What will the new spark be? What will you try to separate from the past so that you can burn in a different way in the future and not repeat the same mistakes again and again? I also get this feeling of, it's like, even in that poem, the writer talks about not repeating the same mistakes, but praying for a vivid memory of the mistakes of the past, of the experiences of the past. So it's almost like wanting a clean slate, but realizing that you still want to keep the lessons. There's a certain amount of greed, and I don't say that in a bad way, like a yearning to keep only the important things and move on cleanly into the future without repeating the same mistakes, but still holding on to the lessons of the mistakes that we have made. Very, very interesting, this idea of time, this idea of story, of writing a new story. The Eight of Wands at the bottom of the deck talk about writing a new story, communicating a new story to yourself, right? In the month of May. Very, very interesting. Let's see where we go with this particular reading. Blessed, deep knowing, and chop wood. Yeah. Again, this idea of realizing that in the past, we are blessed to know, we are blessed to have experiences, whether they worked in our favor or not, right? There's lessons in the mundane, in the day-to-day, and in heartbreak, and in mistakes. Those are blessings. As much as they might hurt, taking the moment to pray on those, to be grateful for those blessings, the blessings of time I'm getting, the blessings of experience, of failures and of winning, and that bringing you into this space in the present of this deep knowing, the moon imagery here, this secret hidden depth to you. The moon also talking about keeping secrets, right? I see that very much in this blank plate, almost like a protection. You're hiding the things that you know and the place that you will go. There's almost a smug look yeah, I know where I'm going now. I know what I'm doing, right? And this desire in the future to want to chop wood, to break down a barrier of some sort, to open a door, a portal, and to fly off perhaps on this broom towards something in the distance that you are keeping locked away, you are keeping hidden, you are keeping secret. I see somebody plotting here, but not in a bad way. Not in the type of plotting that will like end you up on that show Snapped. Okay, I see you planning, writing something down, a plan, a vision from this deep knowing, from the mistakes of the past. Perhaps as you reemerge from isolation, right, and the dawn breaks and you finally touch the sun again. I see your skin sparkling like those vampires in Twilight, right? Something about the sun touching your newly born skin, your a sense of newness, a sense of wonder, knowing where it is that you're going to take this broom, which direction it is that you will chop wood, that you will take action towards victory, right? This idea again of story, of rewriting a new story, right? Getting rid of the bondage of our old path, of our old story. We have endurance here. This idea that you have endured quite a bit in the past. I love this read for you. Grace in the middle, being graceful with ourselves, being graceful with the people in our lives, with our vision. I also see grace very much as this reserved, speak after you do type of a thing. There are, I get the quote, dreams so big, you're afraid of telling people because it might make them uncomfortable. Perhaps that's why your tile is stone cold and refusing to share its story. You've etched it on your heart, and once you've acted on that, that is when you'll etch it into the actual charm, right? Into the actual plate. For some of you, there could be newness in the form of a life, right? We saw something similar to this in the second charm, I believe. It could have been the second. I'm sorry. This idea that you are birthing a person that is yet to have a name in this world, and that is a blessing, right? That is there's a deep connection to this thing inside of you that will eventually see the light, that will eventually come out of the womb, out of these doors. With this card of endurance here, where I said even our painful memories are blessings, the cacti feature prominently on this card, something prickly, something that has cut us in the past, right? That in and of itself being a blessing, and coming into a deep knowing because of those experiences and falling into grace, using those experiences in a positive way that can really help us. I don't know if I've ever said it on this channel, but there is it may have been in a personal reading, but there's a scene in a show that where somebody talks about pain, and they say there are two types of pain in the world. There's the pain that knocks you down, that knocks you out, right? The pricks of a cactus that cuts deeply and renders you immovable, renders you almost useless, right? There's useless pain, and then there's the pain that motivates you. There's the pain that helps you take action, right? He says this type of pain, the pain that leaves you unable to move, is useless pain, and I have no patience for useless things. Coming into this place of that deep knowing and that grace, that you have no patience for useless pain. You're going to use this pain to chop wood, to take action in the month of May, and you have faith, deep faith, in this deep knowing that you are going to tell yourself a story, that your heart is going to rewrite a story for you that will help you resonate in memory, in history, in legacy for some of you. Some of you are making like big boss moves that will have you remembered past the time that you've gone, right? I affirm that all life is sacred, and I remain in balance of my emotions. This very much. All life is sacred. All of our past lives are sacred too. This idea that that even through the bad, sorry about that, even through the bad, that life, these experiences from another life, from another vision, from another dream, are sacred. There is something to be learned from them as we move into grace. And having this determination, right? But also seeking balance in your faith. That even when you feel weak, even when you can't pick up that axe to chop wood to head towards this beautiful sun and open that door and let yourself be wild and free in this quest towards grace, towards a new story that you're telling yourself, you will have faith and remain, and that faith will keep you balanced in your emotions. The Five of Wands, yeah, coming out of conflict and marching so passionately with the Knight of Wands towards using, again, this being the same suit, and the King of Wands too, this being the same suit, I see very much the wands here, the wands here, and the wands here. We're taking the problems from the past. In May, we are developing a method. We're taking this fire that was once trauma, that was once pain, that was once war, okay, conflict, and we are using that to march forward towards grace, to march forward towards victory, towards passion, right? Towards a new chapter. The wands speaking of passion and also of communication. This idea again that you are telling yourself a new passionate story built off of this pain, this war, these wands that are fiery hot, using that flame, using that fire to propel you towards something positive. The King of Wands here, again, being in charge of those emotions, right? And the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups, I see very much here as emotion in and of itself. The King of Wands stabilizes this desire to go back and forth quickly, in and out, right? And there's this feeling of patience, of almost understanding that things take time, good things take time. It's taken time to come out of this place, right? It's taken time to come out of this fire and to transmute the fire that burned you into the fire that now fuels you. Leaving that in the emotions, balancing the emotions, perhaps asking for help from your community, your friends, your lovers, your parents, your family, to help you bring that balance, to keep that faith. I see too with this particular Three of Cups, with these cups being raised in the air in celebration, a celebration of breaking through, right? Breaking through the darkness towards this beautiful light, finally able to open this door and write a new story. But also, I see this as an offer, raising your glass not towards each other, but all of you raising your glass towards the sky like an offering to the gods. I let go and I let faith, right? I let go of the things that take me out of balance, and realize that the universe will take care of those things on the days that I'm not strong enough to pick that axe up. The Empress here, this could certainly be lessons from the past, and again, this idea of birthing new life, right? Perhaps a difficult pregnancy, one where you might be warring with the father or mother of your child, embracing this place of motherhood, but mothering your wounds, I'm getting too. For those that pregnancy or birth does not resonate with, mothering your wounds to the point that you can change them, you can grow them into something useful, into something that allows for creation in the future. The Queen of Swords, again, this idea of being calculated and cold. There's a coldness to this plate, right? And I don't say that in a bad way. Sometimes we have to put on a brave face. We have to, especially in the face of the people that have brought us from this Five of Wands, that have caused this particular conflict. Sometimes it's better to say nothing. Sometimes saying nothing says everything. And I get a need for protection. right? With this Queen of Swords. I'm not a killer, but don't push me, like that Lil Wayne song says, right? I am a queen and I have this sword and I can use it. I beg you not to make me, because beheadings aren't pretty, and you will end up on that. You will end up here if you push me. I need to almost not expose what's in the heart, what's in the chest, because that way you can protect it. You can protect what's in the heart by putting on something almost deadpan in the face. Very, very nice. I see this too, this idea of cutting things out that no longer serve you, changing the way that we see them. But the Queen of Swords speaks of truth, and that coming right on top of the card of deep knowing. This is a truth that you have cut out from yourself. A truth that will lead you forward towards the future. The Six of Cups, again, this idea of not repeating the same story, cutting out the stuff from the past that just only taking the lesson and leaving the hurt, basically, right? Again, this nod to children if you are becoming a mother. And the Four of Coins here, I see this very much as Jesus take the wheel. I see this not just as a blockage, right? Blocking, like this pentacle. The traditional image where we block our hearts, there's something defensive about us, right? There's something protective. But I see Jesus take the wheel with this coin. When we get to get ourselves out of this place of cold, we're letting go and we're letting faith guide us on the days where the snow is so bleak that we're like snowblind almost, right? Very, very beautiful energy here. Confidence and good things to come. In this moment, I take a step back and look at myself with the pride of a good mother, this Empress here. I see an abundance of abilities and talents that show up all the time in big and little ways. If I could stick myself on a refrigerator, I would. This idea of memory, right? I would invite all the neighbors over and say, look at that. Can you believe what an A+ that is? Again, we're taking memory, but we're only we're filtering out the negative stuff, right? If you got an A+, there was a lot of hard work that went into that, and perhaps some frustration, some agony in studying hard for that A+. We're moving forward in the future with just the knowledge that we got the A, and leaving the painful memories behind. Perhaps moving into a place where you become confident enough in this deep knowing that eventually you write the story to where other people can see it. But I see initially making silent moves. Perhaps there are people that will try to make you tell a different story that takes you back to the past with this Six of Cups, because they want to keep you with them in the past, right? Not moving forward. Because I hate to say misery loves company, but this idea that we try to pull people back from progress because we don't want to be lonely in our own stagnation, right? Good things to come. There are so many amazing gifts coming my way. I can't see them now because I respect the general convention of not peeking under the wrapping paper. A blank, yeah. But they will show up when the time is just right. And that's when I'll remember how much fun it is to be surprised. Perhaps you're letting your heart surprise you with this story. Tell me your own story, heart, right? Tell me what delight you want to see in the future. And surprise me. Write your own story here and I will follow. I will follow your guidance. I will follow your grace and your deep knowing, okay? Almost forgot to pull a archetype card for you, so I'll do that now. For charm number 3, please. For charm number 3, please. For charm number 3. Go ahead and laugh at me while I struggle to get these cards off the ground. I have hardwood floors, and when I drop a card on the ground, I know it's going to be a nightmare getting it back up off the ground because of the way these sit. Okay, you've pulled 2 cards. The first is the empty room, and the second is the poet. Why did I bring all this poetry into this reading? Well, I think we know now. It was a sign, right? I will go over the basics of the empty room here. Time of being in the loneliness, being in the nothing. There's something glorious about being in the nothing. And not having a destination just yet, not having a plan just yet, letting yourself sit in the quiet and see what messages come from the heart in this empty room where anything is possible once you decide to leave it. This is a time of great introspection, right? Of keeping the mind blank and only letting what really stirs the soul come to the surface. Very, very beautiful. The card of the poet here. Let's pull the book out on that. Obviously, I felt really compelled to share some poetry with you today, so that certainly is fitting. Came for the tarot, stayed for the poetry, I hope, right? Here's this in the event that you'd like to screenshot it. Again, this idea of tell me a story. The poet, the artist, the witness, the truth teller. The poet's work is to feel immensely and not be afraid. They must seek out truth in the darkest corners of the world and carry it back for all to see. This unique capacity resides within us all, regardless of our relationship to creativity. When the poet energy is present, there is a call for deep honesty and reflection, for seeing the big picture within the little one. The poet rides effortlessly between the personal and universal. It's possible that others may not seem to listen or care about the poet's work, but do not be discouraged. The words of the poet ring true for centuries to come. Again, that idea of legacy. Soothing the wounds of despair and violence that captivate our world. The poet's work is never finished. Find your voice and trust that the wind will carry it. Finding your voice and trusting that the wind will carry it and you, I'm getting. And when you do come into this place, you will want to hold on to it, okay? When light, clairvoyant, wise, and timeless. Wow. That line from that poem again. The name of the story will be time, but you cannot say the name, right? When dark, harmful words, sharp tongue, and thwarted creativity. Go deeper. Spend 1 hour reading poetry, then 1 more. I think you've already done enough poetry today with this reading. I've given you enough homework during the reading. It's likely there is a poem or poet that was meaningful to you at a young age. Revisit and reread it now. Be open to its message. Perhaps these poems in particular will resonate with you, right? I'll try to remember to link them down below, or at least the videos of the show that came into my mind that motivated me to mention them. The poet is related to the shaman and the bridge. These archetypes hover in the meeting place between the everyday and the sacred. Very nice. What story are you telling yourself today? What story are you writing now? I absolutely want to know. Let me know down in the comments below. I hope so much that this reading resonated with you. I obviously wish you all the luck in the month of May. And I hope that you found some value here, right? Some wisdom, some truth, some clarity, something to hold on to, right? I also wanted to let you know that by the time that this video gets posted, I will have a giveaway again that I'm hosting over on my Instagram. If you're interested in winning a tarot deck, you can feel free to join me there. I also do some Ask Me Anythings where I do free mini personal readings, I guess, through Instagram 2 or 3 times a month. I should be announcing one of those again soon on my Instagram. And I want to thank you so much for bringing your creativity here, you little poets. making me reminisce about writing again, and bringing some beautiful poems back into the forefront of my mind. All right. Alrighty, thanks again for watching. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves and those around you. Follow guidance on keeping yourself healthy. If not for yourself, then for the people in your community. And hopefully I see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Alrighty, if you have picked charm number 4, then this is the reading for you on what it is that you can expect in the month of May 2020. You have picked the charm of the gear. A couple things that I get from this. First, I obviously get this idea of thought, right? This idea of somebody thinking so hard that I almost see like steam coming out of their ears, right? What are you thinking about? What are in your thoughts in the month of May? Some of you consumed by thoughts. I see the Nine of Swords here. I also see the Wheel of Fortune coming into a time where you're feeling blessed, regardless of the past, regardless of circumstance. I see you coming into this awakening, right? This period of forward motion in the month of May. Perhaps gears coming to a halt with everything going on in the world lately has made us find a newfound appreciation for time, for the ability to be able to go out and make what we want of ourselves in the world, and finally coming into a place where we are harnessing that time, where we are looking forward to the time in which we can make those things happen for ourselves. Very beautiful. I also get for some of you this idea of grinding gears. Somebody might be grinding your gears, right? You might have been stuck with some people that you are realizing now. I don't know if I'm very much, if you are my person, if you are my friend, if you are somebody that I want to be stuck in quarantine with for a long period of time, right? Somebody perhaps grinding your gears, and I see this image of people's teeth grinding. Somebody irritating you maybe in the month of May, and you realizing this is not the gear for me. We are not meant to interlock, right? We are not meant to rotate together. I also get very much this sense of solo movement. You, as the wheel in and of yourself, have the power to move in a specific direction. I get that you are realizing that you don't need an apparatus behind you. You yourself in the month of May are enough to get the wheel moving. You are your own savior, your own good luck charm, your own apparatus. You are the machine and the wheel, and you can guide yourself any direction that you choose. Obviously, with the idea of wheels in general, it makes me think of the chariot. It makes me think of forward motion, barreling down towards a certain path. This particular wheel has spokes and almost like spikes around it. Obviously, this idea of interlocking, right? But also of being equipped for rough terrain. I'm getting, you've got like all-purpose tires on you. You are very much coming into a place where you're ready to hit the road less traveled, find a path, a destination for yourself that is not, I'm getting not it takes a certain amount of courage. There's a card in the archetype deck that speaks of this, I believe it's called the forest, of going in the forest and getting lost in the forest. Again, this idea of the road less traveled. You are ready to go off-road. Yeah, you're ready to go off-road in the month of May, perhaps literally, right? Perhaps you're getting out there and you're going on a trip. Perhaps some of you are working on your vehicles in particular, getting them ready for a journey of some sort. I also get this idea of a gear that, and as I see the Hanged Man at the bottom of the deck, a gear that is not connected to something. You need a connection. You need a something to point you in a specific direction in order to get yourself moving again. Tired of being stagnant and wanting, desiring forward motion in some sense. We'll take this one. And this one that also showed its face. Where is it at? Here we go. There's this idea of this being an antique, right? With this bronze. It's perhaps time to dust yourself off and get some forward movement in the month of May. The universe very much is standing by you, right? Ushering you into a new era. It's telling you it's safe. It is safe to travel. It is safe to move now. Serendipity. Blessed and flexible. Yeah, I get something that was written in time, right? Something that you have felt as a soul's calling, a person for perhaps realizing that there is a blessing in memory. There's a blessing in time. I see too. For some of you, if this is about love specifically, you're coming into this place where you might actually be able to make a connection with somebody that you felt a deep connection to in the past, somebody that you've been drawn to for any particular reason, right? Perhaps not just in the sense of union, but a lesson to be learned, something that you're supposed to bring out of this experience, a blessing, right? Moving towards blessings and moving towards flexibility here in the future. With that Hanged Man that we got at the bottom of the deck here, this is quite the opposite, right? This is really stretching. This reminds me of that starfish in the last, I believe it was the April predictions video. If you picked the starfish, again, stretching, right? Stretching yourself thin, stretching yourself wide, not in a negative way, but in a way that allows you to expand and to really feel things and to really get out there in the world. Taking your blessings with you at the center, at the core of everything. Strength here, you could be a Leo specifically, but this idea that you have the strength now. There's something that history, that serendipity, that karma has taught you, and that it has emboldened you. It's made you tough, right? Like this wheel, and you are ready. You've got your all-purpose tires on. You're ready to move into the future with strength. Claim your blessings. Claim the blessings confidently that were written for you before time even existed, almost before time was time. You are getting the strength to claim this fate, this destiny. Wow. Counting your blessings here and moving forward, knowing that you have been blessed, perhaps with a divine gift, a divine union, and using that knowledge, that strength to move forward towards actually stretching yourself and making this happen in the world. For some of you, this is a physical activity, actually getting into motion from a place where you have been in a standstill and finding it a blessing to be able to get outside. Finding luck in actually being able to stretch yourself, right? Finding peace in perhaps yoga specifically. Finding peace in physical movement. Very nice. I give offerings that are genuine, this idea of truth, but also I see this idea too of a deep knowing, of a deep. It's like you've swam these depths before with the serendipity card, and you know that the time will come again where you will swim in these depths again. You have that faith, you have that courage. That what is meant for me is meant for me, and nobody can take that from me. This is something written in time. Very beautiful. Um, the card of kindness at the center of the spread here, perhaps this idea of being kind to the self, right? Being kind to others, but being kind to your blessings. There's so often times where we have blessings, gifts of our own, right? And I think of creatives in particular. There's a gift that we have. There's a blessing that we've been gifted from the universe, and something that was etched in time specifically for us. Stories to tell, stories to emotions to make people feel. And we squander those blessings. We stay in that hanged man position, afraid to receive the illumination, to cut ourselves down, and to show ourselves to the world. And I think in this case, if you've let time linger on these blessings and you haven't taken advantage of them, you're being kind to yourself in the month of May, knowing it wasn't the time for that. There was a lesson to be learned here. There was strength to build. There was a truth that I needed to discover in these blessings before I could harness them and move forward, embracing the all, embracing the everything, embracing all of my potential, embracing all of my potential and all the different roads that I could travel, and becoming flexible in my path, having peace and knowing that now is the time that I am meant to move forward. Four of Cups, yeah. This feeling of something being just that far away. I also get denial here. I get denial and apathy and boredom. This recurring thing in your brain here that has kept you up sleepless nights. Again, the nine of swords imagery. There's something that you pushed away, a cup that was waiting for you, that was written in time, that you have pushed away, and the universe kept handing it to you, saying, now's the time, now's the time. And you weren't living in that genuine truth, and now you have the strength, now that you are being kind to yourself, kind to your blessings, now is the time to accept that cup and move forward. Perhaps creatively in general, because I see some of you definitely opening up your creativity, right? Embracing your inner creative child and moving forward towards something that lights your creative passion. But also, I see very much connection here. I see love here. I see someone that perhaps you feel like you've lived another life with, right? The Nine of Cups, complete emotional fulfillment. Again, I get this tenderness here. I get this tenderness and this joy of a blessing, of a wish fulfilled. And going back to your roots almost, treating this thing like a child, this passion, this fire, like a child, and forgiving yourself any weaknesses that you have felt that have almost made you crumble under the pressure of a beautiful gift, fully embracing that, right? Perhaps having a cocktail or two to celebrate these blessings, but reaching a place of emotional fulfillment here in the month of May. I feel happiness, I feel joy, I feel like this contentment, being at ease, smiling on the inside so much that it shows on the outside. True blessings, right? Coming into your space because you've taken a step back and you've nurtured your blessings. Even taking the time to speak on that blessing, saying, "I am in fact blessed." There's something that you're doing to be kind to yourself, to even acknowledge that. The Four of Wands here, very much this destiny, this 1111, right? This idea that you are embracing destiny, you're coming to peace with a destiny that you have long denied. You are coming to peace with this divine union of a soulmate with another person or an endeavor that you are gracefully opening your heart to now, one that you have rejected in the past. The Eight of Coins here, focus, right? Focus now on bringing that into fruition. Seven of Coins. Yeah, this is a seed that was planted long ago, even perhaps since childhood, a fated destiny that you knew you would be moving towards, and you denied. You didn't put the work in, and now you are ready. It's time. It's time right now to focus and to build what you had pushed away in the past. because you realize this is a genuine truth of yours. The Seven of Coins here, willing to passionately plant seeds and watch them grow, and to actually tend to this garden of yours, to nurture it, like I said, like a child, like taking it back to that innocence, right? And to pour your love deep into that, to pour your love deep into yourself, being kind to yourself, realizing that you in and of yourself are a blessing. Some of you, with this acknowledgement, with this serendipity, I feel you are coming into a divine union. The Ten of Cups here, moving from the Nine. Once we acknowledge our blessings and are kind to ourselves and others, that our blessings in our life, we move, we ascend, we embrace, and we come into destiny. This, for some of you, is a soulmate union coming in and into fruition in May. You might not be getting married or going all the way here in May, but I see you planting the seeds and focused on that love, on bridging that gap, on reaching this pinnacle, this Ten of Cups and this Four of Wands, really claiming it and embracing it, knowing I've spent so much time denying that this love is even possible for me. I know that it is mine. I claim it. The wheel moves in my favor. Even the universe is trying to whisper it to you. This is yours, child. This does belong to you. Stop denying it. Stop rejecting it. Because it is coming. It is coming quick. Remain flexible and at peace that you will embrace that here in the future. Four of Wands and the Ten of Cups, man. That is crazy. And look at that, the Hierophant. The Hierophant, a higher purpose, a higher calling, and for some of you, a higher level of commitment. There is a lot. I'm noticing this energy, not just in this reading, but with my personal readings as well. People, you don't know what you have till it's gone, and it's not until moments like these where we're forced to disconnect that we realize how deeply we need connection, right? And I feel like a lot of people are coming to a lot of realizations that they've squandered some time, and they need to get their love back. They need to get their passion back. Being forced to sit in a room, right? It reminds me of when I was young and I was in PE, and for those of you that are not American, physical education, right? Sports in school. And I used to be a very good runner. And there was a day where the PE teacher said, we're not running today, we're doing fast walking. And that thought seemed so ridiculous to me because we've trained to be runners, we're running on the track, right? And this idea of being forced to walk when I wanted to run very much resonates here with this spread. Now that you're forced to walk, to be isolated, to be alone, you want to run. Because you didn't have, perhaps before when you had to run, right? You thought, oh, another day of running, this is going to be a pain in the butt, I'm going to be tired, my legs are going to hurt, right? And once somebody took it away, once circumstance removed the option for you, that is when you really, truly remembered, appreciated what you didn't have until it was gone, right? Until it was taken from you. And some of you guys are reclaiming a destiny, a fate in the month of May, and you're moving full steam ahead. I'm seeing the gears on those ships that turn the water, right? You're funneling water, and there's a blessing. There's like a dance and love that comes from that in deep emotion. Very, very nice. Positive thinking. In the garden of my mind, the Seven of Coins here. In the garden of my mind, I water the good thoughts and weed out the bad ones. I throw in forgiveness and empathy, that kindness. Forgiveness and empathy seeds by the handful if I want. And I take a lawnmower to that jealousy and resentment patch. I'm a pretty badass mind gardener. Tending to these gardens in our mind, planting seeds and thinking very positively in this Nine of Cups state about this destiny, about this union that is coming to us. Some of you are literally moving back into a place in a relationship where you will get married with this Hierophant, this Four of Wands, and this Ten of Cups. And this is like soulmate, I was going to say another word, but soulmate stuff, okay? This is soulmate stuff. Magic. I believe in magic. I see evidence of it all the time, and though the tricks can probably be explained away by something sensible and ordinary, I'd rather not ruin the fun. Other people can fill their days with mere coincidence. I'll fill mine with holy crap, that's unbelievable. Again, this belief in magic that you have denied, this serendipity, this fate that you have denied is even possible for you. For some, I see this like something wanting to come up and you swallowing it, right? It's time now to believe in magic. Some of you, magic in love in particular. Wow. We have the card of Alethea that has come up for the Kim Kranz card. I'll bring that up a little bit closer. And I will grab the book definition for you on that. I see again this mirroring, this shadow and this light, this belief in magic, and two people again, soulmates coming together. This card lies very much in the back of the deck, as in like the end of a journey and the beginning of a new one. So I feel like some of you are, again, that idea of being right on the precipice of something beautiful. Here's that in case if you want to screenshot it. Alethea, truth. Our soul recognizes the truth. When someone speaks it, a cool wave of relief washes over the room, and all the facts and figures in the world fall by the wayside. Such is the power of Alethea. It has an undeniable resonance that goes beyond the rational. We can also recognize Alethea by its contagiousness. When we hear someone speak the truth, we see the truth within ourselves and are more likely to tell our own story. The Alethea card requires us to step toward an act of truth. This might look like a conversation with this Page of Wands, right? A gesture, a poetic act. Some of you coming again towards this creative endeavor, or a ritual that honors the unveiling of what's been concealed. Honoring the unveiling of what you've pushed away with that Four of Cups. Reclaiming your own truth is a way to reclaim your vital energy. Again, you're claiming it. I said that in the beginning. I claim this. This is mine. Nobody can take it away from me, right? Reclaiming your own truth is a way to reclaim your vital energy, health, and sense of belonging in the world. Truth has its own wings. Set it free. Wings here on this Ten of Cups. Very, very beautiful. When light, clarity, revelation, disclosure. When dark, distortions, gaslighting, and excuses. Go deeper, the goddesses Ma'at and Veritas. Veritas meaning truth. Picasso said, "We all know that art is not truth. Art is a lie that makes us realize truth. At least the truth that is given us to understand." It is said that the resonance of our voice changes when we speak a falsity. In this light, practice seeing truth as a vibration. This idea that you are manifesting something, this soulmate union, this passion, this endeavor, in the month of May, this is your portal. I'm being told that specifically. This is your portal. This is your time. This is your opening to will it into existence, to claim it as yours. Like Maxine Waters, reclaiming my time. You need to reclaim your time, okay? To reclaim your voice, to reclaim your truth, and watch it lead you. Watch this blessing, this revelation, this truth lead you towards destiny. Very, very powerful energy here. I love this spread for you, obviously. I wish you the best of luck with this in the month of May. And I hope that you send out that frequency, that truth to yourself and to the universe, that you are ready to get this wheel moving forward towards your fate, towards serendipity, right? For some of you, towards a marriage and love. Alrighty? Alrighty, I want to thank you so much again for watching my channel and for choosing me. I will be doing a giveaway by the time this video launches. A new tarot deck will be announced, so feel free to follow me on Instagram here. And also I'll be doing an Ask Me Anything that I do usually 1 to 3 times a month, where I allow people to ask me questions within a certain time frame and do free kind of mini personal readings over on Instagram. I should be announcing one of those soon as well, so please don't hesitate to join me there. Let me know in the comments what it is that you are claiming. And say it like you mean it. Say it like Maxine Waters, reclaiming my time, right? Tell me what frequency you're emitting in the month of May, and what destiny it is that you are harnessing, that you know the universe has made for you. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on this. Alrighty, charm number 4, that was your reading. Stay safe out there. Follow guidelines, right? If not for yourself, then for those in your community. And hopefully I see you again in the next video. Bye-bye. Alrighty, if you picked charm number 5, then this is the reading for you on what it is that you can expect in the month of May 2020. You have picked the charm of the puzzle piece. Very, very interesting charm to pick here. Get a lot of things from this charm. Boy, oh boy. I get this need to find pieces to a puzzle. Puzzles are fun, but if you've ever stored them, then you know how easy it is to lose their pieces. And a puzzle doesn't ever feel complete, right? Without all the pieces in order, without all the pieces in the box. There's something about not having the complete picture that is a little bit of a disappointment in a particular puzzle, right? I see you looking for answers, looking to see, for some of you specifically, looking to see where it is that you fit in the month of May. Where is it that I am supposed to be? What part of the puzzle is it that I am supposed to lie in? I get too a sense of the bigger picture. I get a sense of needing to look at the bigger picture to find where it is that your puzzle piece goes. Oh, I felt that. Where your puzzle piece goes. Perhaps for charm number 5 for the month of May, you are coming into a realization that you have been the part of a puzzle that no longer fits you, that no longer fits your pieces. You have tried to force your way. If you've ever seen people trying to force a piece of a puzzle into a place that it does not belong, you have been trying to force your way into a puzzle that you are no longer a part of. You are looking for a new landscape, a new vision, a new path, a new tribe that you can connect the pieces with in order to fit in a little bit better. I get this puzzling, literally puzzling question of where do I belong? Where is it that I fit, and where is it that I'm trying to force my edges, right? I'm bending my edges and scraping them because I'm trying to force myself to fit in a puzzle that is no longer me, that is no longer a part of me, that is no longer a vision or a picture that I want to be a piece of, okay? I see too, for some of you, I find it interesting that this particular puzzle piece is alone, right? Puzzles come in sets, and obviously we can get as intricate as thousands of pieces into a puzzle, or as small as like a kid's puzzle. I get to hear like, what puzzle is it that I'm trying to fit in? And it makes me wonder, charm number 5, what puzzle it is that you have detached yourself from. Perhaps you are finding that bending yourself for the will of others, for the will of other people's pictures, is not meant for you. There is this idea too that you were crafted to fit into a certain picture, and you have decided that perhaps this is not my destiny here. This is not the vision. This is not the picture that I belong in. I get very much too that you've been puzzling over this for a while. You've been trying to find your place for a while because the idea of puzzles being kept in a cupboard, not looked at, right? Perhaps there are certain pieces of your life that you have neglected to really open the lid on, right? To take all the pieces out because it's messy to open a puzzle and to lay out all the pieces and to try to find where each piece goes. Frustrating at times, right? Perhaps there's a fear. There's a fear that you won't find where all the pieces go, that you won't be able to complete your puzzle. the concept of shape specifically stands out to me, right? What shape you're molded into. Perhaps you're trying to remold your physical shape in the month of May. You have taken to a journey in regards to health, in regards to that kind of attention to yourself, attention to your physical shape, the way that you are formed, right? Trying to reshape yourself in the month of May here. I can't get over, I see two here. I was going to say, I can't get over the fact that it's detached, right? Obviously, it's a single charm, but when you realize that it comes in a set, I don't feel good about that. I'm going to keep shuffling. When you realize that it comes in a set, it makes you think, what have you plucked yourself from? What is it that you no longer want to be a part of? Perhaps you're creating your own puzzle in the future here. This feeling of independence, this feeling, it's weird. I've been getting all these, and perhaps it's because I've been listening to a lot of the albums in isolation, but as I told I think two of the other piles previously, I'm a big fan of the band Death Cab for Cutie, which is a strange name for a band, but I promise you it's one of the greatest bands of this generation, I feel. There is a song, and again, this feeling that perhaps because it's been on my mind, this is why these themes keep coming up with this particular band. But there is a song called "Your Heart Is an Empty Room," and I feel like perhaps the room that you have found yourself in, the puzzle that you have found yourself in, there's empty pieces of it. There's ridges that need filled, right? You need to connect. You need to feel attached to something, because right now there's a lot of emptiness around you, and you want to feel like you are in a place where you belong. But in order to do that, first we need to detach ourselves, right, from the puzzle that we are already a part of, right? The people, the places, the things, the goals that we have made into our picture, our puzzle, and in order to paint a new one, to find a new home, and to find solace in a new direction. That song specifically stands out to me because there's a line in it that says, again, the song is called "Your Heart Is an Empty Room." I'll link it down below with all the other references that I made in all the other readings, where the timestamps usually get pinned. Right in that same comment, I will list these under the timestamps. I get the lyrics of "Flames and smoke climbed out of every window and disappeared with everything that you hold dear or held dear. But you shed not a single tear for the things that you didn't need, 'cause you knew you were finally free." This feeling of detaching yourself from a picture that you no longer want to be a part of. And although you feel the void, you feel things lost, you feel holes that you want to fill, there is a recognition, there's no tear shed for pictures that you no longer belong in, because you realize that you are now set free. And these holes can be filled with something more meaningful to you, something that is truer to you, okay? The Fates coming out first. Wow, I knew this was going to be a powerful one, but coming in hot here, charm number 5. Time to go. Yeah, unplucking yourself. Again, I kept focusing on the fact that this was a single puzzle piece. What is it detaching itself from? You realize that your fate, your puzzle piece, lies somewhere different in the month of May, and that's okay. You shed not a single tear for the things that you didn't need. There is so much freedom and beauty in this card. You realize that your fate lies in a different direction. The acknowledgement of that in and of itself is a sign of maturity that most people don't even reach in their lives, right? It's one thing to pursue a new fate, but most people don't even get the recognition. They don't even have the wherewithal, the awareness that the path is leading in a different direction. I get like yellow brick road, but in this case, it's like the yellow brick road written in the stars, the yellow star road, leading you to a new destiny, a new fate, recognizing that it's time to pick up and go. Again, those stars leading the path. New puzzle pieces that you will put beneath your feet to get to a new destination, to build a new picture there in the distance. Very, very nice energy. Hope, yeah. You're hopeful. Again, yeah, you shed not a single tear because there's a freedom in unplugging, there's a freedom in letting go. Um, there's also a realization, right? By the time that it's like thirst. By the time that you are actually thirsty, you realize that you're beyond the point of needing water. You're actually dehydrated, right? And there is an acknowledgement. There's a hope in the acknowledgement that, wow, I've been operating this entire time from a place of thirst, and sure, that's not good. I need to guzzle some water up and get myself hydrated. But also, there's something liberating about being able to acknowledge what your body needs, what you want, what you're quenching for, what it is that you are endeavoring for in the future, a hope that lies in fate, a hope that lies in destiny. I see this deep-seated, this deeply rooted trust in the universe, in your destiny. That although it's time to go, right? Every ending leads us to a new beginning. Okay. I see the card of truth here. The truth is that it's time to go. Ace of Swords energy here. You could be an air sign in particular, but I see here, I see the star here as well. You could be an Aquarius air sign, okay? I see here the truth being bittersweet. Bittersweet nightshade is the flower that comes up here. And mourning cloak. Mourning is spelled Mourning. Mourning is in the death of something, right? The truth is that it's time for something to die. It's time for something to change. This card here, the time to go card, breaks down to a 9, and nines typically mean that we're on the precipice of some great change, right? This change is fated. It is destiny for you to travel this yellow starred road into a new future. You are hopeful in that, and you realize that it is the truth, that you are destined for bigger and better things. I am open to love in various forms. Perhaps this is in regards to a relationship in particular, right? That you are learning to release. The truth is that it's time to go. You are not my soulmate. You are not my fated partner. You are not the piece of the puzzle. We don't fit together. Our sides are too different, right? We're too different in shape. We don't spoon together very well, I'm getting. That's for whoever that resonates with, right? We don't spoon together very well. I don't like the way you sleep. You snore too loud in bed, and honestly, it's kind of annoying. My fate is with a non-snorer. I get better sleep that way. Being open and faithful, that this love will come to you. This universal love I'm getting. Oh, that is shining on you at this moment, into the future, into truth, into departure with the Eight of Cups imagery here. I act respectfully of others, a nod to getting a truth revealed, right? And realizing that it's time to go, time for a transition and a change, a death and a rebirth, and respectfully bowing out with grace, with dignity, right? As I know that everybody that watches this particular channel, because we are not about that, low-level nonsense over here, right? That you would leave a situation with grace, with dignity and tact. I'm getting. There are things about this puzzle piece that you can keep and that you can discard, but we want to keep the things that allow us to start new and fresh and clean in a way that is respectful, right? I see that as you make this departure, you do it kindly, you do it respectfully, you detach. You detach hands with somebody in this union that you shared, but you do it while offering a peace offering, a rose, a flower. Farewell, I bid you adieu, right? There's something very mature about that. There's something very, I don't know, there's something respectable about that. Operating high vibrationally here. I love it. The Hermit, something that I feel has been lurking in the heart, lurking in the mind. You are your own light here. You are the stars. The stars guide this person. This person in particular is very much in the dark. If we look at the traditional hermit imagery, that is an indoor, right? Like inside of a cave almost. You are out. You are opening yourself up to the universe here. Perhaps spending some time outside on a rooftop, on a, um, looking at the stars for guidance. I see that the stars, the fates, are guiding you. They are lighting the path for you in this deep period of introspection. Virgo energy here specifically. Yeah, trying to make a choice. The Two of Coins here, Earth energy. Trying to make a choice. What is it that I'm holding on to, and what is it that I'm letting go of, right? Which picture is it that I want to be a part of? I get to this idea of this hand clenching those coins and making them rub together in ways that they're not meant to. You realize that there's something in the future here. This is not meant for you. You are meant for bigger and better. I keep getting that, bigger and better. There's a bigger puzzle. You've graduated from the kitty puzzle. You're ready for the big girl or the big boy puzzle here. And there's no need to force. There's no need to force pieces of a puzzle together. You either are meant to fit or you're not, right? Particularly when it comes to love. I see too that for some of you this is certainly involving career and life path. Very much leaving. The notion that you thought that you would be a part of this puzzle, perhaps changing schools, changing jobs, or even a moment where you were kind of forced out of circumstance with everything going on in the world to be unable to work right now. And that has given you the introspection about what direction it is that you are going towards. And if this financial, if this job that you have, right, this schooling that you're probably going to, if that is the piece of the puzzle for you, if now that you're disconnected from it, now that there's distance and you're not trying to force these two coins together, if you are reaching this place with distance, it's almost like distance makes the heart grow fonder, right? You're growing fonder of something, but it is not the thing that you once held so close together. It is in a new path, a new picture, a new vision. Six of Swords, yeah, at the center, bridging both the what I sometimes consider the past and the future here, going into calmer waters. And I see very much turning your back and not being afraid to paddle through rough waters, to reach the other side of the shore, something more stable, something more, perhaps you're physically moving as well, right? With this hermit energy speaking very much of the home, and now we're going on a journey, we're going outside. We're trying to find a new home with our resources, and we're getting in our boat and traveling to that new destination. Either way, I see this very much as this departure from things that we expected, that we realized no longer fit our vision. Yeah, death and rebirth, like I said here. A death and a rebirth, a Scorpio energy here specifically. You are, it's funny because this particular card, these things that an animal, a deer, these branches, they're almost like a spirit. They're haunting. They're a ghost. They're something that lingers in the heart but is gone already. Perhaps this realization of the puzzle piece, right, is that you have to let go of the things that linger in your heart and chest and mind but are no longer real. They've gone. They've died. Right. They've left, and it's time to move away. It's time to detach yourself from the ghosts that haunt you. I see even people and places and things from your past that certainly hold you back, right? There's something about almost like somebody renting room in your head for free, and it's time to let that go. It's time to walk away, get in your boat, and head towards a new destination. The Page of Cups, a new beginning. I get like a clean emotional slate, right? Going back to this youthful innocence when it comes to love, when it comes to passion. And it's funny because this particular cup, it sits on this box, and I always get this image of a potter's wheel, or like those I think it's called a potter's wheel, those ceramics wheels. You're crafting your own cup here. You're starting from scratch. Where is it that my love belongs, right? Perhaps you're communicating this lovingly with this I respect others cards, and bowing out, like I said, making this transition with grace and dignity and love, right? A cool, calm, collected tone to end a chapter in a beautiful way. the Three of Wands here, something that, again, this image of turning your back to something, right? Waiting for another ship in the distance. I've waited for ships before. These are not the ships for me. I know there's something better out there, and I plan to manifest that thing and make it mine. A new direction I'm getting. You're standing on the shoreline, and you're doing more than that. You are all these things that you've contemplated turning your back to before. You're actually physically doing it in the month of May. I feel relief, just like, I'm so done with it. This tired enthusiasm, if ever there was a contradicting visual, right? A tired enthusiasm. I'm just so done with this. I'm ready for something new. I'm ready to stop holding back, I get. It's interesting because with this boat imagery of going into the water, going into the island, a lot of times with the Three of Wands, specifically, there's this talk of seeing a boat out in the distance and waiting for it to come to you, manifesting that thing. I see too this like you've thought about it for so long. You've waited in the balance. You've hung in the balance for change for so long, for a vision for the future, for hope, right? For things to change, for things to feel more faded, for things to get back on a path that we would consider divine. That you're tired of waiting. Again, tired enthusiasm. It's like, you know what, and you know, I don't often curse on this channel, but fuck that. Like, if it doesn't come, I'm gonna go get it. I'm gonna get in my boat and row my merry little butt down to a puzzle, to a landscape, to this mountain in the distance that is calm, that is cool, that is full of love, that is recreated in my image. I'm getting recreated in my own image. Of what I want, of what I desire, of what I deserve. These wands too. It's like they're being thrown away. We've reached past the point of impatience. We're pissed. We're ready to pull. We're ready to make something happen. Again, he pulls something towards him instead of just waiting for it to come. This idea that action is required, and we're tired of just sitting on the sidelines, I'm getting, and waiting. It's time to play. It's time to be the star player, the star piece of the puzzle, and to drift away into something better. Wow. The Hanged Man, you could be a Pisces specifically. You're fighting, right? You're fighting stagnation. It's easy to stay in your puzzle, right? All the pieces fit. They might be worn, and the puzzle might be not the picture that you're looking for. But boy, wouldn't it be more comfortable to just sit in this place? But an illumination coming. It's time to cut yourself from that tree. It's time to see the world from a different perspective. And I see very much with this imagery, his head just barely is about an inch away from that water. When you're ready to move, when you're ready to cut yourself down, you will take a dip in a pond. You will take a dip in the water. You will be forced to swim. In this case, you are ready to cut yourself down and row your boat. Okay? The last card here, the star. Again, I said that I had seen the star, guided by the stars. Get outside. Obviously, stay safe, right? I want you to look at some stars in the month of May. I very rarely give advice, but this one can't do too much damage. And when I say go on a rooftop, I mean if you have a rooftop deck. Don't be going up on a ladder and doing anything crazy and then suing me later because I told you to go up on a roof and look at the stars, okay? I have nothing for you to sue me for, I promise. The star. Hope renewed. Hope. Hope in destiny, hope in faith, wish fulfillment. Go out and make a wish on a star, right? You could be in Aquarius, surely, but I get this sense that it's funny because this particular representation of the star, it's almost like this fairy, this hope, is on a stripper pole, getting a little wild with our dreams, with our aspirations, right? You're done. I get this. I get The Hustlers, the movie. Like you're tired of Wall Street getting all the fun, and you're gonna have some fun now. Very Jennifer Lopez of you. Charm number 5. I like this energy. You're gonna make your own. You're gonna make it rain on your own. You are ready to make it rain. Destiny and fate and hope and healing. I get too. Wow, I never thought I'd see the star this way, but there it is. Here we are. This is what isolation has led me to. Okay, charm number 5. um, very, very nice energy here. You are your own star here. You are your own piece of the puzzle. And I feel very confident, charm number 5, that you are going to find this destination, this island of safe, calm water that feels true to you, where you can craft your own cup in the distance here. You're ready to move. Playfulness. I am a playful participant in life, and I always have the option to make something a fun game rather than a heavy burden. Wow, with our puzzle piece, right? A fun game rather than a heavy burden. Mary Poppins puts sugar in the medicine for a reason. That lady really knows how to party. this image of partying again, right? Making something playful out of this transition of this. I get this impatience, this growing nudge in your soul that it's time to move. It is time to find a new vista, right? I love that Mary Poppins is on a motorcycle here. What a badass. Never seen her quite like this, right? She's like a mix here between Mary Poppins and that nanny. I forget what that show, what is that show with that nanny, right? From, I think she's from the UK. She gives all that tough love, right? She's like a perfect mix there between both of them. Again, this idea that you're trusting and hopeful in faith in fate and destiny, but also there's something about you that is tired and ready to go. A perfect blend of both, right? Generosity. I give generously to those around me, no matter how much or how little I have. I know there is more than enough to go around, and that the key is to allow it to keep going around without stopping. If I stop the flow, I'm like the one person at the stadium who doesn't do the wave. This falling right here on our page of cups, perhaps this is the peace offering, the flower, right? We see this giving again, this respecting others, and leaving things graciously with a generous spirit, with some gratitude and a thank you in a very high vibrational way, but also perhaps opening the door to new emotions, new friends, new opportunities, not being the only person in the crowd that isn't doing the wave, right? You've broken yourself free for a reason. You might as well have a little bit of fun along the way while you find the puzzle that it is that you belong to, right? You've pulled the seed, which also came out for another one of the piles. I believe it was pile number... Let's see, which pile was that? I believe it was the plate, the name plate, the empty plate. In fact, I would gather that you should watch that reading as well, because there is a theme that is very similar in crafting your own story in that theme, in that pile with the placard, with the nameplate. Highly would recommend that. Planting the seeds. This idea too of a grit forming your pearl, right? A situation where there's been struggle, there's been resistance, there's been even your own resistance perhaps that has made you shine, that has made you a pearl in an oyster, a pearl in an ocean full of things that are not as beautiful, right? And that is the seed that is helping you get towards this place of beautiful renewal, of growth, right? I see too this seed being in this maze, right? This maze of, it's like you have to pluck that one piece out of the maze. Just like the puzzle piece here, perhaps there's one specific thing in the month of May that is really standing out to you, that this thing needs to be plucked, or this thing is the one thing that I need to hold on to. This is the key to the puzzle, right? This is the pearl in all of the muck that will help light the way. The one thing of value I'm getting that will really take you into the future, into your fated destiny. Just finding that for you here. 1 second, please. Alright, here's that in the event that you'd like to screenshot it. The seed, the beginning, the origin, the pearl. Beginnings come in many forms. They are not always a beautiful seed placed intentionally in nourishing oil, Origin stories, like any birth story, are complex, surprising, multi-layered, and usually reveal a central image or detail that represents the fully formed being. Simply stated, the end is present in the beginning, or the entire oak tree resides within the acorn. This idea that this one piece of the puzzle is the thing that will expand the entire picture, right? Whether you follow this imaginal theory or not, know that when this card appears, there is a potent generative energy all around. It stirs your very insides and usually results in an antsy, impatient feeling. Pay particular attention to what agitates you, right? Like I said, this snoring person that doesn't spoon well with you. Pay particular attention to what agitates you, as it is a sure sign of growth to come. You are bumping up against a growth edge. It is from the grit that the pearl eventually comes to be. When light, generative, fertile, germinating and building. When dark, festering, stewing and dormant. When dark, that hanged man, right? Festering and stewing and dormant, not moving. Go deeper. James Hillman's acorn theory in The Soul's Code. One of the alchemist's favorite images was the pearl. The irritant, over time, becomes the treasure. What is your grit? What is that thing? What is your grit that is making your pearl? The true seed is elusive. If we follow any story towards its origin, it spirals farther and farther back in time. In this way, we are always the seed and always the fruit that it bears. That is a beautiful, beautiful message. Pile number 5 are beautiful puzzle pieces. I want to thank you so much for watching. I want to let you know that I wish you the best of luck for this in May, and that this fated blessing comes your way, this realization that you perhaps belong somewhere else, or there's a piece of the puzzle that will bring you into this fated destiny, something that needs to be let go of, right? I'm very curious for my little puzzle pieces, what it is that you are releasing yourself from, or the new vision that you see yourself implanting your newfound shape in, okay? Let me know down in the comments below. I know that other people love to read how the reading resonates with them as well. By the time that you are watching this, I will have posted a brand new giveaway on my Instagram. Feel free to join me there if you like tarot decks in particular, and you would like the chance to win a new one, okay? Also, I will be doing an Ask Me Anything. I will be announcing that today or tomorrow, roughly. So those Ask Me Anythings are like mini personal readings that I give a certain allotted amount of time to, and I answer as many questions as I can. For those that I understand can't afford a personal reading, especially during this difficult time, I give you a chance to ask your question there, and if I have enough time, hopefully your question gets picked. So feel free to join me on Instagram for that as well, okay? Alrighty, charm number 5. Thank you again for watching. Stay safe out there. Follow guidance, if not for yourself, but for those in your community that you care about, okay? Alrighty, hopefully I see you in my next video. Bye-bye.